Kevin's 50 here, back with another video. This one is firearm safety and what you should know. What I'm gonna do is hit a few topics and let you know how I feel about firearm safety and the things that you should know to make sure you are safe and your household is safe. You see in the background with flashing lights, I have some old school wrestling going on back there. You know, Booker T, 5-time champion versus The Undertaker. But let's get to the points. I'm gonna mention the 4 cardinal rules of firearm safety, securing your weapons around children, the safety devices, as well as dry firing tips and tools. Firearm safety is one of the most important things, if not the most important things in firearm ownership. Well, I will say it is the most important thing because these tips I'm gonna give you can save lives and they will save lives, especially the 4 cardinal rules of firearm safety. And I'll recite them here. Number 1, you always treat firearms as if they're loaded, always. Number 2, never allow the muzzle of any firearm to point at anything you are not willing to destroy. Number 3, never put your finger near the trigger until you are ready to fire. And number 4, always be sure of your target and what is behind it and in front of it. So those are the 4 cardinal rules that they can save you in most of the incidents that you're getting yourself involved in. They will help you with not harming yourself, not harming your friends, not harming your family, not harming anybody around you. And the key word in that is most, because there are a few other things that need to be done to help out with safety, and that's in terms of children. And I'll get to that here shortly. And now you see my Dolphin shirt. On my last video, I had my 49s, but I got the right shirt on now, so there we are. Segueing that last point into this point of securing your weapons around children. When you buy firearms, you'll see in the container or the paperwork they have you fill out, at least in my state, it will have the general statute and say that you understand that the law says that you have to secure your weapon for a child will not be able to get to it and harm themselves. That is very important. Make sure you're understanding your laws, specifically safety laws for children, but in general, safety laws for your weapon. Your state may have it where you're traveling in a vehicle, your weapon needs to be locked away separate from your handgun. You know, there may be many different things that you need to consider or be aware of when traveling with weapons in terms of the safety part of it. So look at your gun laws in your state to make sure you're traveling legally and safely. With securing your weapons from children, they make many things that can help you with that in terms of safety devices. And I have a couple of them here, even this. Here are a few of them. So here's a lock box. Here's a flag for the chamber of a rifle. And here's a locking mechanism for the firearm. This fits in a handgun as well as a rifle. So when you buy a handgun, they'll come with it, right? So there's no need to not use this stuff when it comes with the weapon when you buy it, right? They're giving it to you. So you have this locking mechanism. You also have trigger guards that you put on the trigger and you turn the key on it and you lock it. I have one here, but I can't find it. So what I'll do is insert a picture here. And I'll also put a link in the bio so you can see that. It's not that expensive. You can buy, you can afford to buy a trigger guard or trigger lock for your weapon to keep it secure from anybody, specifically the children in your home. You can see all my child toys here. So I'm a big proponent of safety. So let's go over these locking mechanisms. This flag is one of the flags that comes in your rifle, but it's safety-wise. You can be sure that your weapon is unloaded and be sure that there's no way that bolt is gonna slide forward and that firing pin is gonna hit that round and go off. So you buy a rifle and it'll come something like that. And maybe the bolt be down. Boom. This weapon is now inoperable. You're not gonna be able to fire it at all. So that's a safety mechanism that you can keep in your weapon if you're gonna keep it around the house. But just remember that kids get curious and they may be able to pull that out and shake that loose. And now they have a weapon that's free. So how do I avoid that? I'd avoid that by using this locking mechanism, this cable here. And what you can do with this is very simple. You do the same thing with the handgun as well as the rifle. You can just insert it into your mag well. There it is. Pull it down, stick her in there. She's safe. Take the key out, and now it's good. Your weapon without fire, no one can put a magazine in, a round can't go in the chamber. Even if you put the bolt forward, it's safe. There's no way this weapon's gonna go off. And the same thing can be done with the handgun. You insert the mechanism on top, bottom, doesn't matter. But as long as it's in here in the mag well and inside this chamber here, well, you're good to go. Well, not chamber, but as long as it's in here in this configuration, there's no way that a round's gonna go off, even if the slide is forward. It's blocking any kind of way of any kind of unsafe handling or any kind of negligent discharges. So if you don't want any negligent discharges, follow the four cardinal rules, as well as those safety tips around children. You know, keeping your guns locked up, keeping the weapons, keeping your kid, if they're old enough, keeping them educated on firearm safety, making sure they are aware of it. So if they see a weapon, they can go tell somebody, tell an adult, not just pick it up and just willy-nilly do whatever. Now, if you're training your kids to go shoot and training them safety tips, great. If they're old enough to comprehend those things, they will take to that a little bit better than children that aren't well-versed in it. But if I'm wanting to keep a weapon close to me, and I'll put a link to this as well, if I'm trying to keep a weapon close to me but safe, or if I have it in the house and I can't afford a large safe or a gun cabinet, and I just have this one small handgun, that's all I have, consider buying one of these lock boxes. You can buy them for a low price of $10. This is the large version. They do sell extra large versions for $10 more. And they're wise because they can hold your weapon. They have a lot of padding in them, so it's not a lot of bumping and banging around in your weapon, with your weapon. But what you do is you have this wire that comes with it, and you can obviously loop this around. I like the base of my truck's seat, like the metal base of the seat. Loop this around there, put the other end in this little cutout. So when you put your weapon in there and you lock it, there's no way for it to be taken out. Now, I'm a 6'2", 265-pound guy, and I've done a lot of yanking. I've had it and literally grabbed it, leaned backwards, almost falling over, and it hasn't bent anything. It hasn't pulled itself free or anything. So this looped around the base of your chair or some kind of metal component in your vehicle, and this securing this part, your weapon's safe. So it's safe in your vehicle. If you run to the store, you leave your child and your wife in there and your kid's curious, they're not gonna get that weapon that you just took off your person to keep in the car because you locked it in here, right? Or if you head to an event and you choose not to bring your weapon inside that event, why not lock it inside this, opposed to locking it in a glove box or in a trunk? Well, those things are fine, but those things can be broken into easily. And this thing is a little more sturdy and durable. This is some hard metal. Like I said, I pulled on it and it's not gonna bend. It's resistant to being cut by any kind of prying tools or cutting tools. So this is what I go for. Like I said, it's not the best of the best, but it's something. It's $9.99, and I got $10. Why not invest in this to lock your weapon up? Next, dry firing. Dry firing. It's on the safety list because obviously you're putting a magazine inside of a weapon and racking a slide. There's a safety issue with that because if you're doing it, you're not paying attention, obviously you can rack a round inside the chamber if you picked up the wrong magazine. So what I do is I have these dry fire training inserts. I'll insert a picture of that here. So as you see, they're really cheap. I'll also insert a link to them in the bottom so you can pick these up. I like to insert these into my training magazines. And I say training magazines because I like to buy extra magazines for my handguns as well as my rifles and just strictly make them training mags. So I'll buy them, put this insert in it, and I'll dry fire with them. So this insert assists your weapon in when you rack the slide back, it doesn't allow the slide to lock like it would if it was just a normal empty magazine. So there you go. So I rack it back and it just won't lock. So if I'm doing the dry firing, pew, pew, you know what I'm saying? Opposed to how it usually goes when we dry fire with a normal mag without that insert. Pew. Oh, my slide locked back. Now I gotta do this whole doing that number. Pew. Pew. You like my sound effects? Or we can just go that 1/8 of an inch, but you know, it's a little bit tough to do all that. So get a training insert for your dry firing as well as safety. You can look in it. And I know some followers in magazines are orange, but you can see that, okay, this is not the magazine that has the loaded rounds in it. It's a little bit lighter, as well as I don't see the bronze or silver look of a round. I know that this is that training dry fire insert in this magazine. So that's another safety tip as well. I hope you enjoyed these safety tips. I know there are a lot of people getting into firearm ownership, getting into the learning phase of it, and this is key. I've spoken of cleaning the weapons, I've spoken of tourniquet applications, but I haven't spoken of the cardinal rules and the other points of safety in terms of ownership. So those are the main points of safety. Like I say, keep them away from your children, or at least train your children on them, but make sure you have them locked up so there aren't any negligent discharges. You would hate to come home, your kid got your gun and an accident happened, or your gun's left in your dashboard or something and your car gets broken into. Now, obviously somebody committed a crime to break into your car, but now there's a weapon on the street for anything to happen, and you kind of caused that. You decided not to secure your weapon, and it led to your weapon being on the street, and you know, ain't no telling what can happen from that. So consider the safe box for your vehicle or your home. Consider this type of lock for your weapon when you're trying to secure it in your home. Like I said, it comes with your handgun. Just use it, especially if you're not trying to use a weapon as a self-defense weapon in your home and you have nowhere to put it. Place this on it so no accidents will happen. If you have a rifle and you have extra ones, the longer ones, they have shorter ones and longer ones, go ahead and throw this inside your rifle or put this flag in it. Do something. Make sure you keep the ammo separate from your weapons if you're not using it for home defense, if you're not using it for any kind of self-defense. And if you are doing that, make sure you're cognizant of the little people around your lives, your family members that come in and about your house. I have a niece and nephews come over all the time, and I'm always cognizant of, hey, I need to put this weapon up, I need to take this magazine out, I need to do X, Y, and Z to make sure everything is safe. So those are the tips. Keep that finger off that trigger until you're ready to fire. You all be safe. I hope you really enjoyed this. Randy Savage 50 checking out, like, comment, and subscribe.